What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be very short. Our presenters for today is Realwear, head mount tablet, Augmentir, connected worker software platform, and timber building systems, telling us what beautiful things you can do with the two systems together. Our participants are coming from packaging, Hactamonkey, CNC design, industrial automation, MESCON, system integrators, plant reliability engineering in New Zealand. I think they must have gone lunch. What's the time over there? Bumper leads, marketing automation, energy save Victoria, technical and safety regulator, and econ consulting engineering. Rom-Control, for those who don't know, electronic engineering and connected worker software and hardware solution provider. And with that being said, I will hand over to Maria or Roxy, whichever way you want to call her, the company and the agenda. There we go.
Awesome. So thank you, Michael. I believe that we're going to start with Cameron from Perth, which is the Realwear rep, I believe. And he's going to talk a little bit about Realwear. Then we're going to move on to Chris to talk a bit about Augmentir. And then Rob from TBS, which is located in Melbourne. And he'll speak about the head-mounted terminal HMT solutions. Yeah, over to you, Cameron.
Cool. Nice one. I've got two quick slides to run through, and not specific. We'll talk about Realwear, but not more so about the connected worker in general and how our current infrastructure and digital ecosystem is well set up to enable information and knowledge transfer to people within businesses pretty much up to the office. So the last office before you're out in the field doing field work or interacting with plant and equipment, we're quite well set up there. And we have ventured into the mobility space with mobile phones and tablets. And we've seen certain companies extend, the knowledge transfer and interaction out into the field with mobile phones and tablets, predominantly using voice and maybe some checklist functionality. But we really haven't seen a transformative change. And Realwear believes that has really tried to capture the market by creating a knowledge transfer platform that connects the office and the rest of the world with the worker in the field. So the Realwear HMT as a platform, so head-mounted tablet as a platform, connects workers with each other, connects workers with the plant, and with any industrial IoT devices that are connected to the internet. So it's truly extending the capability out into the areas where workers are actually interacting with plant equipment and high-risk tasks. So Realwear, so I'm a solutions engineer at Realwear. My primary role is ideating use cases and understanding how Realwear as a knowledge transfer platform can be utilized in businesses. I come from a safety and risk background in the oil and gas sector and utility space, and we have dozens and dozens, or actually hundreds of customers throughout the Australia New Zealand market that I'm supporting at the moment, deploying wearable technology into their enterprise. And the Realwear's got about 33, or it's almost 35,000 headsets deployed globally at the moment across all industry verticals. And the reason they're so successful compared to other wearable technology in the market is the ruggedized nature of the device. So very briefly, you can see the features of the headset. Basically, it's a tablet in a wearable form factor. It sits under the dominant eye of the user, under line of sight to maintain situational awareness. Key features are the fact that it's got excellent water and dust rating. So it's 100% dust tight, IP66 rated, and it's also waterproof. where you can spray it with a water jet, you can put it in a fish tank, and you can take it out and it won't be a problem there. So it's got excellent battery life. You can use it outside. The temperature range, plus 50 degrees C to minus 20 degrees C operating temperature range, which is so far away from any of the other competitors that it's just so well utilized in industry. So we have a really excellent partner network. It's an Android tablet, so software runs on the device just like any Android device. And Augmentir is one of the Realwear software partners that has developed an excellent solution to enable all of the features of a connected workforce. So we'll hand over to Augmentir to showcase what they do, and then obviously how it all fits together with an industry use case. Over to you guys.
Great. This is Chris Kuntz from Augmentir. Let me just share my screen quickly here. Okay, so just a couple slides to kind of walk through, just kind of giving an overview of Augmentir and our connected worker platform. And just a quick note on Realwear. So Augmentir is a software platform. We obviously run on the Realwear HMT1. Our position in the market is to be a little bit hardware agnostic. So if a customer is using a tablet solution, we obviously run on Android tablets and iOS tablets. But as far as wearable technology and specifically head-mounted wearable technology, Realwear is by far the market leader in terms of practicality, reliability, safety in the market. We've been exposed to all the different wearable technologies that are out there, and from our standpoint anyway, the customer demand for the Realwear HMT1 far surpasses anything else. So we've been very excited to be partners with Realwear. It's by far the market leader when it comes to wearable hands-free technology. And so just to kind of echo what Cameron was talking about, just a very superior product. So just want to mention that quickly. So I'd like to just kind of walk through quickly who Augmentir is, who we are, kind of the essence of connected worker platform and what we bring to the table, and then talk a little bit about some use cases and benefits for industrial companies. So I think it makes a little bit of sense just to spend a minute or two talking about Augmentir. So we're a software company founded in 2017. We have customers in over 50 countries today. Our software is used in a variety of different use cases, from manufacturing to out in the field. So we think of it as anything from manufacturing on the shop floor to things out in the field, installation and service, spanning a variety of different industries: construction, oil and gas, traditional manufacturing, so on and so forth. And what we offer is a software platform. Like I mentioned, it's a SaaS-based solution. It's a connected worker platform, and there's really three basic elements to that platform that I'll talk through: digital workflow, remote expert connectivity, and then our platform is built on an AI engine. So there's operational insights that give you information on how to optimize your workforce over time. And I also think it's probably worth mentioning a little bit about the team here at Augmentir and our history. We go back 30 plus years of innovating and delivering software into the industrial sector. So one of our co-founders, Phil Huber, was the co-founder of a company called Wonderwear back in 1987. And they pioneered the first human-machine interface software to go into factories back at that time. And so today, I think it's still used in 60 to 70% of the factories in the world. Some of you on the call today may be familiar with it. It's the de facto #1 factory automation software today. It's sold under the Aviva brand today, went public at some point, and again, sold under the Aviva brand. And then Russ Fidel, one of Augmentir's other co-founders, co-founded a company called Lighthammer Software in 1997. And they transformed the manufacturing intelligence layer. So as more software was being introduced into factories, they created an integration and interface layer to integrate a lot of the systems together. And so they transformed sort of how software systems played within the manufacturing environment. And that was acquired by SAP in 2004. And today, if you're using SAP software, it's sold under the SAP MII, Manufacturing Integration and Intelligence space. And so like 90% of the SAP implementations in the world use Lighthammer software under the hood. And then in 2009, most of the founding team at Augmentir founded a company called ThingWorx, which was a pioneer in the industrial Internet of Things space that was sold to PTC in 2014. And today, Gartner and a lot of other leading industry analysts recognize ThingWorx as the leading industrial IoT platform that's out there. So our team is sort of, we keep getting back together to kind of do the same thing over again and kind of look at what's next. And when we looked at after ThingWorx, we looked at what's next. We realized that the real gap in Industry 4.0 and in industry, today in general, is the human workforce. And so we set out at Augmentir to build a platform based on artificial intelligence that is really geared towards improving the productivity, safety, and quality of that frontline workforce, which has really been sort of forgotten, if you think about it over the years. And so that kind of brings us to, what is the Augmentir platform? As I mentioned, software platform. We run on, the Realwear HMT1 as well as any iOS or Android device. 3 basic components. I'm going to talk about 2 core components: digital workflow and remote expert, and then talk a little bit about how AI really helps uniquely position that for the frontline workforce. So first aspect of the platform is digital workflow. So we have an authoring environment and an environment that allows you to execute digital work instructions. And those really are geared towards, they can run on the HMT1, they can run on any device, geared towards helping frontline workers go through their normal work procedures. And so it helps them close the skills gap, reduce errors, improve quality and productivity of the work that they're doing. And then the second core piece of the platform is what we call remote assist, but really it's connecting with a remote expert. And this is even more important in today's world with the COVID pandemic than it ever has been before. If you think about the nature of work in the industrial setting, workers used to rely on someone looking over their shoulder and literally physically looking over their shoulder and helping a novice worker or helping somebody sort of diagnose or troubleshoot a problem. In today's world, that's really not possible, whether it's limited travel, whether it's social distancing, or whether it's just sort of people adopting more of a remote work policy. The ability to remotely connect with a subject matter expert and then allow them to see what they're seeing in the field of view and work through problems or work through situations is critical. And so that's what this remote assist capability does. It allows remote subject matter experts to intelligently guide workers in the field, or even intelligently guide customers when you can't travel on site to do a preventative maintenance procedure or a site inspection. And we mentioned, so the Connected Worker platform is built on an AI engine, and really where that stands to differentiate us in the market is we're using AI to capture how workers are performing their jobs and then identify opportunities for them to improve. And so over time, our AI engine is actually able to capture information regarding how workers are performing tasks in the field, whether it's manufacturing or service routines, and then identifying opportunities for improvement, whether it's in training or whether it's content improvement. And then our AI is able to dynamically, sorry, my Zoom window is sort of getting in the way here, pardon me. Our AI is able to dynamically match instructions based on worker proficiency. So one of the things that we oftentimes hear within our customer base is variability in the skills workforce. So whether it's a novice that's coming in to do the job for the first time, or even in today's situation, a lot of industrial companies, they don't really have any predictability in their workforce today. And so being able to dynamically deliver instructions based on the proficiency level of the worker is really critical for them. And that's what our artificial intelligence engine is able to do, provide a little bit more verbose instructions for novice workers or workers that are in a learning path, or proficient workers that have been doing the job for an extended period of time. And then I mentioned remote expert, or the remote assist capability. We also have a capability in our product where our artificial intelligence engine, and specifically AI bots, are able to sit alongside of those remote assist conversations and capture the tribal knowledge that's happening. And so if you get a situation where a worker is running into a problem in the field, and they connect with a remote expert and they diagnose the problem and resolve the issue, we are able to capture that as a recordable session and save it as a corporate asset that can be shared when the next worker is running into that same particular problem. So this really helps organizations capture information regarding the tribal knowledge that exists within the organization, and using that as a shareable asset over time. And so I mentioned that we work in a variety of different industries. There are several use cases across manufacturing and service that we play, and I just want to touch on a few of these today. So in the manufacturing setting, anything from setup and changeover to simple and complex assembly, audit and QA, plant maintenance, and then as you kind of extend that out into the service realm, installation, operations, service, repair, diagnostics in the field. And then across all of those use cases is our remote assist capability. And just kind of talking a little bit more about that, there's really 3 areas where remote assist really plays a role in the industrial collaboration space today. The first is field service. And so this is a case where field service technicians that may be out in the field diagnosing or troubleshooting a problem in the field can remotely connect with a subject matter expert to help them walk through a situation, use augmented reality-based overlays to intelligently guide them through that process. The second is extending that out to customers. And so this is even more important in today's world, where site visits are maybe not practical due to travel limitations or due to just social distancing in general. And what remote assist allows them to do is actually put the power of servicing and preventative maintenance in the hands of the customers, and using your staff as the remote subject matter expert that can help guide those customers through those typical service or preventative maintenance routines. And the last area is in manufacturing collaboration, whether it's collaborating between buildings or collaborating to do plant assessments or factory acceptance tests or anything revolving typical manufacturing procedures that in the past involved people coming on site or people looking over someone's shoulder. Being able to do that remotely through this technology has really sort of helped solve a lot of problems that exist in the industrial sector today. And so just to kind of highlight where connected worker technology helps within the industry, first is intelligent guidance for typical work scenarios. So being able to help workers of any experience level complete jobs safely, on quality, and efficiently through digital augmented work instructions. And the second, and I mentioned this earlier, it's using artificial intelligence to personalize those work instructions for that particular worker. And so this particular example here on the left is a novice worker who, if they go through a particular manufacturing process, maybe at a certain point in time, they need a supervisor to come and do a sign off on their process, versus senior tech, somebody on the right, they've done this procedure for 20 years. They don't need that particular step in the process. That digital workflow can be sort of tailored towards whether they're a novice or a proficient worker, and doing that in a way to optimize how a worker is performing the job to maximize safety and to do it on quality at the optimal speed. And then to deliver cost-effective remote assistance. As I mentioned, with the current sort of nature of work has completely changed. This is absolutely critical. Connecting with a remote expert, absolutely critical in today's world, and being able to do that cost effectively is something that's critical as well. So we have our remote collaboration tools that allow workers or customers to collaborate with your support techs and with your remote experts. We do that through a combination of chat, live video, and annotations and file sharing that allows for optimized workflow through any typical manufacturing or service scenario. And then hands-free operation, obviously we're great partners with Realwear. So being able to to run Augmentir on a hands-free device, completely voice controlled. Realwear has fantastic voice control services. So being able to actually walk through a whole instruction set, walk through a complete workflow in a hands-free environment, absolutely critical in today's environment.
Can I just jump in there for a moment and say that
Sure.
Our experience with accents, some people have some fairly strong accents. It's excellent the way it understands. It actually understands everyone. And I don't know how you guys do it with the HMT, but it's good.
Even understands my non-English English.
Yeah, I mean, so I can't say enough about what we hear from our customers on the Realwear HMT1. Voice is there's no comparison. The noise cancellation features, you know, the accents. I mean, back when we were running live demos at live conferences, back when they had live conferences, we would just hand the, you know, Augmentir running on an HMT1 to prospects that were walking up to our booth, and literally anyone that would walk up could start using it within seconds. You know, so limited training, it's very intuitive, and the voice controls are just superior, and it just makes for a very, very clean environment. And if you think about the industrial setting, there's a lot of jobs that exist today where you really need your hands. You need a hands-free you know, system in place, and it's just far superior there. And so kind of just to kind of close out from a capabilities of the Augmentir platform. So our Connected Worker platform is built on an AI engine. And what we do is we capture how workers are performing their jobs, where they're struggling, where they're excelling. And then we pull that into our engine, and our engine is able to identify opportunities for improvement within the workforce. And so this is an example here. It's a very simple example, but it sort of highlights, you know, a typical, I think this is a typical installation procedure, it looks like here. So there's 3 steps in the procedure here. And what it's showing is a comparison of true versus raw opportunity. And so our system is able to take and analyze how long workers are performing the tasks, where they're struggling, like I mentioned, and then what the opportunity might be for optimization in those particular workflows. And we're able to actually analyze.
Stop you there because we're running out of time, and Rob is eager to start showing us how to do things.
Okay. I'll just a quick note on this, using insights to do, you know, continuous improvement across the workforce. We can obviously follow up with a demo on this as we move forward. So no worries there.
And if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask them at the end of the session.
Yep. So to close out with Augmentir, you know, I don't need to read through this. Our customers see a lot of beneficial results, everything from standard work to improving safety and quality, shortening training time, reducing downtime, reducing site visits. And again, as we follow up and as a follow-up here, we can certainly provide, you know, video demonstrations or live demonstrations to anyone that might be interested.
Matter of interest, how many users do you have worldwide?
I actually don't know the exact number off the top of my head, so I don't want to venture a guess today.
Oh, no worries.
Do you want to have the questions now or at the end?
Now.
Now, all right. I just got, do we have, does the Augmentir do teams? In other words, you know, like pairings of people doing work?
Yeah, so we support, so our remote assist, we call it remote assist, but think of it as remote expert collaboration. You know, we support up to 40 simultaneous users in a session. Yeah. So it's a combination. So it could be one-on-one, you know, if that's what's needed, and it can be up to 40 connected users in a session. And what's interesting about our solution is that remote expert can actually simultaneously support multiple workers at the same time, right, through an asynchronous model.
Good. One other one.
And Alex, you could. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, just a quick one about customers. Not all customers are probably going to be huge, but they would still need service. Is there sort of some model for them to like we send them a unit so that they can easily hook up and only use it in a basic level to take some photos and have a talk to the person who's the field service engineer who can't get there, rather than buy their own. My customers won't buy them. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, so we've had customers that provide that model where they send a unit out. We also run on any iOS or Android system, and so in certain cases, and like what you're mentioning there, if there's a customer that has an iOS or Android tablet, it can run on that. If it's a case where they're not going to buy their own solution and they need more of a bring your own device sort of scenario.
Yeah, I got one last one. Sorry, it sounds like time and motion study. How do you go with unions? Have you had experience with in the field with the unions on the AI identifying the timing for the steps of their work?
So Alex, we can do a couple of things there. I mean, if there's union issues as far as capturing individual information by employee, we can actually anonymize that information so that you're really not looking at it by employee, but you're looking at it as the entire group.
Yep.
And then that's where you're really going to get insights on how to improve your procedures versus, you know, looking at specific employees. So
yeah, that's
we have a way to do that.
All right, good. Thanks.
Yep. And I was just going to say also, Alex, when you're looking at connecting up to 49 people on a call, you can actually, you know, you can set up people within groups based on skill set within Augmentir. So unfortunately, I don't know what industry you're in, but you know, let me just ask, what industry are you in, Alex?
Oh, look, we're just a single site. So, I mean, it's a bit of a story about how we got to be involved just in the last 5 days. Thanks Thanks to Mike, but you know, I just see some benefits in here about improving skills.
Yeah. So I was just going to mention, you know, we can group experts by skill set. So like if you had a group that were, you know, responsible for factory acceptance tests, for instance, you could have them in a specific group. If you had a group that had experience in PMs, and that was, you know, your group that helped support PMs out in the field, you could group those people together, and then an expert could ask to talk to that entire group or first available in that group. And then, you know, someone could pick up that call. So instead of trying to hunt someone down, it's just a quicker way to kind of notify everyone that has that skill set that someone needs their assistance.
All right, good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
The answer is packaging. We're pulp manufacturer for egg cartons.
Okay. So probably PMs and I would imagine like lockout, tag out, break fix type stuff.
We're a maintenance shut right now, whole week.
Okay. Yep. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any more questions for Realwear? No? Awesome. Cool. So I guess now we'll move on to Rob from Timber Building Solutions.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
We'll just try and share your screen here. Hopefully that's coming up.
While Rob's doing that, I noticed Steve has a question. What is the minimum bandwidth? Steve, did you want to ask a question? Your microphone's turned off.
Yeah, as soon as I can figure out how to unmute. Yeah, look, I work in environments like mining environments and marine environments where bandwidth is a real pain. So, you know, it'd be nice to have the AI online, but I don't know whether we could sustain it. So just even the visual stuff. And then the secondary part of that question is, can you have a local server that doesn't require an internet connection? So in other words, if I'm at one end of the mine site and someone's at the other, and we can get a Wi-Fi connection, but we can't sustain internet, does that gonna work?
Yeah, Steve, we could actually run offline. So if you had specific procedures that you knew that people were going to run, you could actually load those onto a HMT1 or onto a mobile phone or onto a tablet prior to going on site. And then we would actually gather all that AI, and then once you got back into an environment where you could, basically synchronize that data, you could do that. I can get you some information, like some specifics. I'm looking at it now on, low bandwidth situations and what our requirements are, but we scale based on, what the bandwidth is. So we do have some customers that are running out, like we have one customer that, is running out on ships and fishing vessels, basically, like industrial fishing vessels. So as you can imagine, they don't get the best the best Wi-Fi in those cases.
Can't fly someone out there at the drop of a hat either.
Yeah, exactly. So I can send you the. I'll put it in the chat here. What our requirements are as far as bandwidth goes.
I'm just thinking, what's that program, The Deadliest Catch, on TV where they go out and they do fishing? Are we going to see HMTs and Augmentir on their boats?
Oh, you're deadliest catch.
Maybe.
Is that the one? The crab guys.
I can see it. Sorry, Rob.
That'd be some good promotion for us, I guess, right?
Be brilliant. Rob, yeah.
Thanks, Leon. So I work for a company called Timber Building Systems. We're a prefab manufacturer based in Dandenong, Victoria. I guess when you mention prefab, it's a little bit vague in some cases. What we do, people think precast and whatnot. So this is an installation within Turek. So what we have is a floor system, wall system, and a roof setup. So the wall system is completely closed unit. So it's primed inside, insulated, windows fitted, completely cladded. So we can go from a bare site to a lock up within, say, 3.5 days.
Wow.
In this particular case, it's above an arcade. So the client purchased the existing first floor and wanted to build up. So we put on the floors, a second level and a third level with roofing. So interesting stuff. And typically we would be involved in the on-site installation. And Chris mentioned the issues now associated with COVID, having, I guess, overseas travel and local travel banned, social distancing issues, and a whole myriad of other factors. That's a little about what we do and how Augmentir and Realwear help us. So let me just flip to another screen. So just bear with me here. It switches across to other screens for me. So if everybody can see the, I guess, our communication flow.
Yep.
The intent of what we're trying to illustrate here, so we have our manufacturing ops, we have staff at home. So that includes our design team, management, accounts, and services similar to that. We have our clients, which we're based interstate, overseas, and same with our site. So we have different people, different functions placed all over the area. And how do we bring all these together? So at the moment we have 2 headsets, one based in our manufacturing operations, which allows the design team from home be able to see what our installers are actually going through, to put bluntly. So at the moment, there's a physical disconnect because you can't have, you can allow X amount of people in factory and associated work permits. So what's the most efficient way? So with the Realwear through Augmentir, we can see what they see during the process. So it's, I guess we're trying to unite the two departments. Likewise, we have a current installation at the moment, and as mentioned, we are normally on site, and being on site, we're able to resolve issues far quicker than normal. Being exposed to the data, the CAD models and whatnot. Now we've got another disconnect. How do we resolve an issue on site quickly, where you're paying for crane time, riggers, guys on site, inclement weather coming in? So using the assist function, we're able to directly communicate with the installer, see what they see, address the issues, resolve them, and progressing through. Likewise with clients, in both in-state and overseas, they have a QA function that they like to go through. So we're able to walk through the line and be able to address any concerns they have with our processes, and along with our quality systems, and be able to, I guess, just explain what's going on. They can have a better understanding of our product, any details, and we can resolve them very quickly. So that's a summary as to what's going on with our work life at the moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. Appreciate that. And does anybody have any questions about the topic at all?
Have you found the development of the workflow, Rob? Have you found it painful, easy? What's your summation?
We find it, so the main operation that we're using at the moment is for the remote assist. And in terms of, I guess, available software solutions between Teams and Zoom, the Augmentir video quality is far superior to both. And the associated issues with Zoom and looking through an eyepiece, you are seeing the camera image as opposed to seeing somebody's head. So it makes communication of that data a lot easier while you're wearing the headset.
How are you finding the authorities over there? Are they happy to use it?
We had more of an issue with getting the products into the country. But in terms of I guess the impact on unions is not to the same extent as what we have in, let's say, Victoria. and the understanding of what it's used for, it's not for monitoring. We're trying to get the job done as simple, as safe, as cost effective as possible.
And Rob, what's the feedback been? Can you share what the feedback has been from the users as far as, usability? You give any insights on that?
Yeah, sure thing. So in terms of, so LPM is currently looking after the overseas client, the side issues, and it's very, very simple for them. I mean, normally it'd be a phone call, try to get the mobile phone, this is what we're looking at, whereas we can walk through the complete process with them, and we can drag somebody else in onto the call, CAD data, and everybody can see what's going on. You can also push data to the headset. So if you want to explain with another image or with the drawing, you can send that across. So that's the major benefit. We have gone through the procedures, and we're not 100% so far ready to release it for use. It does work. We're happy with the intent of the procedures, but for us, eyes on the ground and being able to install a building and see what's going on, it's meeting our criteria 100%.
Great.
Fantastic. Now, anybody else have any other questions for Rob? No? Oh. Well, in that case,
I just had something real quick. Steve, did you
perfect.
see my answer in the chat? Was that did that address your question there as far as requirements? Oh, I think you're on mute there, Steve. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
We wrap it up, I guess. Thank you everybody for participating. And if you have any questions, send us an email, and we'll make sure that we provide the information that you need. And hopefully we are going to see each other in another similar subject sharing format.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great day.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.